and I did not swatch because it's a shawl, and sometimes I like to live dangerously. Good day everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mariette, also known as the Boervrou, and this is episode 31 of the Crafty Stitches Podcast. Today is Monday the 20th of February 2023, even though this podcast will only be up on YouTube on Wednesday the 22nd. I do have to say that we do have a little bit of thunder and rain happening at the moment, so just so that you know, if you maybe have pets that is very sensitive to the weather noise, as you can see, mine is here on my lap because she is so afraid of the thunder, but unfortunately this is the only time that I have to film this podcast this week. So I thought I will just go with it and just let you know that in case you have the same problem as me, maybe just be mindful of where your pets are while watching this if the thunder noise is coming through. Alright, so today I am wearing my summer cotton tee that I knitted, and I actually made this a while ago, and about 3 months ago or 2 months ago I decided I'm going to add some short rows. And this morning when I put it on, I saw this little wobble that it makes here, and I have an idea or a feeling that I forgot to change back to a smaller needle when I re-knit the rib, because this was knit from the bottom up. So I suspect I'm going to rip this ribbing out again and knit it with a smaller needle and see if that helps a little bit. But anyway, it's not too bad, but I can see that it needs a little bit of work. Anyway, it is a pattern that I just winged. I just made a swatch, made some calculations and just knitted, and yeah, I was lucky, I guess, with this one. Anyway, so I think we can maybe start with the rest of the podcast. I brought myself some ginger tea, cold ginger tea to drink. I hope that you brought something to drink while we have a little bit of a crafty chat. I just also wanted to say, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new, I hope that you will enjoy this content. So let's get straight into the podcast with the finished projects. Right, this project I haven't shown before. I just started it the other day and I finished it in 2 days basically. So this is like a little mohair blend scarf, and the sole purpose of this little piece is to have something that I can wrap around my neck and knot basically. So I will be wearing it like this, and the sole purpose for this is to see if I can wear mohair around my neck, because I did have this problem in the past where I made a cowl and I cannot wear it. And I suspect that my neck is just very sensitive, because even this is a little bit scratchy. But anyway, I do not have a label for the mohair. It is just an undyed mohair silk blend that I got in a sample pack from Stukken Yarns. And the red that I held with it is this Kaleidoscope Singles 100% merino wool superwash, and it was in the colorway hot date, and it was some leftover singles that I had from a cowl that I finished previously. So it is not unbearable, but it is a bit prickly, so I'm not sure. I still have an alpaca sample that I want to knit up, because I have heard that sometimes if you are a little bit sensitive to mohair, you can maybe get away with alpaca. So I shall still get to that. But anyway, so I just winged this one as well. I started with a I-cord at the one end. I don't think it was this end. I think it was this end. Started with a little I-cord, and then I knitted an I-cord on the sides all the way around the little scarf until I had about, I think I had this a length of like 30 or so centimeters of the mohair left, and then I washed and blocked it. It was a little bit shorter, it blocked out a little bit longer, but anyway, very happy about this. Even if I might be unable to wear this, I can still use it as a tie around a basket. And the other thing that I did is I taught myself how to pick up stitches out of a knitted I-cord and knit an I-cord, applied I-cord. Not sure if when you knit an I-cord after it's applied or how that terminology works, but I've knitted the I-cord with the project and then I grafted it together at the other end. So I did improve my skill set, even if I might not be able to wear it as intended. But it was made for a purpose, and it served its purpose to tell me that I might not be able to wear mohair around my neck. This blend of mohair does have silk with it. I'm not exactly sure what the blend was. I will have to look it up. I might be able to put it on the screen. But yes, that is, it feels softer than the previous mohair that I used. That was from African Expressions. So this does feel softer, but it's still a little bit prickly for me. Anyway, so that is my first finished project. And then my second finished project I am so excited about because it is a new design. So this pair of socks is my newest design, which is going to be called Cozy Faux Cable Socks, because the texture is just so squishy and cozy. I am in love with it. So as always, this design is also knit from the toe up with the heel flap and gusset construction. And as you can see, I did it in stocking stitch at the bottom, and I just did the patterning on the instep of the sock, and then I did it around the leg. Now this pattern is written in such a way that you can just continue the patterning on the instep side, and you can omit it at the back and still just do stocking stitch like this. So then you will have a panel on the top of the foot, or you can do it around the leg as it is shown here. This pattern will have some exclusive tutorials as well going with it, and I also included in this design a little pop of color at the cuff, and I also show how I do that in the pattern. Not that it's a secret. I mean, most people do a round of knit stitches for their pop of color at the cuff. I don't, because I actually like the pop of the pearl bumps of the previous color on top of that. It gives me quilting, top stitching vibes on quilts, and I really love that. So anyway, I'm in love with this pattern, and I am so tempted to cast on another pair, but I think I must maybe knit a pair of socks for my husband first. I think it's his turn. I don't know if there's anything else I could say about this pattern. other than I'm in love with it. And yes, so this pattern will be out very soon. I will talk about it in the news section of the podcast and give you all the details there. But second finished project and I'm in love. Alrighty, what is next? So I did knit this pair of socks in the Esterisa Yarn Creations yarn, which is their Donna base, and this base is 20% kit mohair, 25% nylon and 55% superwash wool. It is a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, and it has got approximately 440 meters on 110 grams. This was a sock set, and yes, I still have plenty of this left that I will be using for something else in the future. Alright, that is everything for the socks. Now we can move on to the projects that I've been making. So let's do that. Alright, my first work in progress is the Candy Cane Stripes socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. Now, if you're a returning viewer, you would know that I had a little bit of problems with this one, because this is my first stranded colorwork knitting sock knitting project, and obviously I don't know much about stranded colorwork knitting, but anyway, so I am learning. I learned a lot so far. So in my previous episode, I had the sock done up to the cuff. I had to start the cuff, but I did not, because the leg didn't fit over my heel. I couldn't get the sock on my foot. So the problem was not a fact that my gauge didn't match the bottom part of the, or the stocking stitch part of the sock. The gauge was the same, so I did go up a needle size for the colorwork part. But what I have since learned is that if you have colorwork, stranded colorwork knitting, your material or your fabric does not stretch as much as the stockinette or stocking stitch fabric. Now, of course, if your float management is not good, it will be even worse, but I do not think that I have a problem with my float management. It's just the nature of colorwork. It does not stretch as much as stocking stitch fabric. And what Adela from the Yarn Creations podcast said is that when you do colorwork for your socks, you want less negative ease. Now, I do like a lot of negative ease in my socks. I like a nice, snug, tight fitting sock. So what I did is I ripped back and I increased one round. I did one round of increasing after the heel, and I increased to the next size up in the pattern, which is 8 stitches. So I just worked out for my amount of stitches, every how many stitches I need to do an increase to fit 8 in all around the leg, and then I started the patterning again. And I did in the meantime get myself a 9-inch circular needle, because that was what I wanted to get, to make the process a little bit nicer and more fun for me to knit. Right. Managing a basket and a dog is not always easy, and I'm not sure where to put the basket. Let's try and put it here. Okay. Hopefully it's not in the screen and bothering. Anyway, so this is where I am at the moment. Oh, and the other thing that I changed is this pattern is written from the cuff down, and I decided I want to knit it toe up. So that is what I did. I changed that, and I didn't have that much of a... Do you want to go again? Okay, there you go. Don't hit the camera. Okay. Anyway, all right, so I changed the sock from being cuffed down to toe up, and I added my heel flap and gusset construction to the sock, and now I'm at the leg portion. So the color work here didn't bother me at all. It's not that much of a problem, and it actually, the first half of the previous knitted piece fit around my leg nicely, but the problem is that it does not stretch enough to go over my heel when the whole leg is knitted. So I have actually tried this on, and it's much looser and it goes over my heel much easier. So I think I might be good this time. We shall see when I knit the whole leg. But this is how far I got. I am now a little bit short on the frogged pieces of the colored yarn, because I am knitting a few rounds, a few stitches more each round. So I do need about half a round's extra yarn, but that's not that bad. I can just weave it in, knit over the ends as I go, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, but that is what it is looking like so far. I think I'm gonna win this time, and it's much nicer for me on the 9-inch. I am still knitting the sock inside out, but yes, I don't think there's anything else I can really say about this. I am using a 2.25mm needle for the stocking stitch part, and a 2.5mm needle for the color work part. Now I just need to add a stitch marker to this project. I don't know where the old one went, but anyway. Right, so now I can track my progress for this one. And this little stitch marker that I just added is a stitch marker from Annegret from Pincushion Crafts. Right, so the yarn that I'm using for this sock is mostly Knotty Habit Kaiso base, which is a 75% merino, 25% nylon blend. It's a 3-ply, and it's got 366 meters on 100 grams. And then the only one that is not Knotty Habit is this beautiful greeny turquoise yarn. It is Cowgirl Blues Proper Sock in the colorway Guinea Fowl, and it's got the same percentage of superwash merino and 25% nylon. Alright, so yes, that is my long and my short story about these socks. I'm looking forward to knit this. It is actually flying. I was just a little bit busy, and yeah, I had a little bit of problems that I will cover in the news section. So I did not get as much knitting done as I wanted to. But anyway, so that is that project. And then my second work in progress is my, I'm just going to stick with this, my Riika top. If it's wrong, sorry. Anyway, so I did do a little bit of knitting on this one, and I am looking so forward to getting this one done, because I already have the second one planned in my head, and I would just love to start on that one as well. Even though this one is not finished, but I want to start a second one because I want to make some adaptations that I'm not going to do in this one. But anyway, right, so let's stick to this one first. Let me just turn this progress keeper around. Right, so in the previous episode I was at that stitch marker, which is a stitch marker by Annegret from Pincushion Crafts again. Really, really pretty stitch marker. And this is where I am so far. I think when I measured, I need to knit about 10 centimeters more from this little yellow bulb marker. So not much to go. I'm loving this. This knitting is just amazing. I do see that my ribbing is a little bit more sloppy in the round than the flat knitting part of the ribbing. But anyway, I don't really know what to say about this other than I'm in love with it. I do see a few things that I would like to change, because before I started this, before I actually bought the pattern, I did see that the armhole opening is a little bit low for my liking, but it was the only pattern that I could find on Ravelry that has a nice picked up band for the neckband that I was envisioning. So I decided I will knit the first one and try to alter it, and if I can't, I will make notes and do it in the second one. So that is why I would love to knit a second version. My dog is trying to get into her little box and she's now stuck. So let me just help her out. Right. Okay. So when I put this on, I did see that it is too low for my liking. And I was considering a few things like picking up stitches and knitting up. And then I decided this is ribbing. Let me see what else I can do. So I basically just mattress stitched it up until I was comfortable with where it is. And I did it on both sides, and I'm going to leave it like that and see how I feel about it when I am finished and when I pick up stitches for the armhole ribbing. I am actually liking the effect that it gave. Because it is ribbing, it just cinches in nicely, so you don't really see that if it was normal fabric, it would have made a little cup or a bump. But because it is ribbing, it just makes this little, I don't know, this patterning. And I'm really liking it a lot. And when I have it on and the top is filled in a little bit, then it looks very nice. But when I'm finished with this and I decide to keep it, I will definitely put it on and show you. But for now, I'm just enjoying this knit a lot and I cannot wait to get it done. Really, really enjoying it. So I am using the suggested needles, which is a 3mm needles for this project. And I am using 100% cotton yarn, and it's not mercerized, it's just normal cotton yarn, and it is the L Cottons 4-ply, and it is in the colorway Lilac. It is 100% cotton, and it has approximately 156 meters on 50 grams. So yes, I think that is also everything that I have to say for this project. Really enjoying it. I would have liked to have it at the ribbing already, but what can you do? You can only knit so much. So yes, that is my top that I'm very excited to get finished. I would like to still wear it while it is hot, so I should get a move on that project. Alright, then my third whip. My third whip is my crochet whip, and it is the Embers shawl. I didn't get as far on this one as well as I would have liked, but I did get a little bit of progress. So this is what it is looking like so far. Stitch marker is not showing. It's beautiful side. There we go. Right, so this is the progress that I have so far for the shawl. In the previous episode I was at that beautiful little birdie stitch marker from Annegret from Pincushion Crafts as well, and I am still working in color A, and I just finished section 1. I think color A has 2 sections. I think so, I might be wrong. But anyway, so this is my progress. I'm really enjoying this beautiful, beautiful stitch pattern. It's really, really pretty. And when I was working on this particular project, I realized that this is the perfect project for when you need to calm your mind, because you cannot just sit and crochet mindlessly like knitting stocking stitch on a sock, because you are definitely going to make a mistake. And not saying that it is hard, but it is a project where you need to be mindful of how many stitches you put in between your clusters, or whatever they're called. I don't think they're called clusters, I don't know. So you need to pay attention to it, and the counting for me especially, I don't know if the counting calms me down, or if the fact that I need to count and my mind cannot wander calms me down in a manner of speaking. So I really enjoyed this project, and it helped me quite a lot, because as I said, it helped me to calm my mind a bit over the last 2 weeks. Anyway, so let me move this before I forget, and then I would not remember where I was in the next episode. I mean, I would remember that I was finished with section 1, but I don't think I will remember where section 2 started. But anyway, so I moved that one so that we can keep progress on this project. Very, very nice project. So the yarn that I'm using for this project is Miss Lamotte singles. It is a 100% superwash merino wool. It's got 360 meters on 100 grams, and this colorway is called Midnight. And I'm suspecting that I'm going to use almost every single bit of this 100-gram yarn, because I think the pattern calls for color A to be like 352 meters or something, and I've got 360, so we shall see if I get the whole section 2 out of this 100 grams of yarn. I am using the recommended hook size, which is a 4mm hook, and I did not swatch because it's a shawl, and sometimes I like to live dangerously. If I cannot get this section out of color A, I will just do the last row in color B, so no one's gonna know. Alright, so that is all of the works in progress that I have to share with you for this episode. I'm dying to cast on a new pair of socks. But as I said, I think I must cast on a pair for my husband first, and then I will do another one for me. And yeah, very excited. Anyway, I should actually be finishing my candy cane striped socks first and get them to fit before dreaming of other socks. Anyway, alright, I think that is everything for the works in progress that I have. So let's move on to see what's been happening. Last week's video was a video where I unpacked my cupboard and organized my acrylic yarns and some other yarns. There was some cottons and other things in between, but not my sock yarns basically. So I unpacked that and I organized it in this video, and I will link it down below if you maybe missed that and if you're interested in seeing what process I followed and so forth. I am happy to report though that I did pack away everything, because I did not do a packing away of everything. I just did like an organizing video. So everything is packed away. And I am so happy that I did this, because now I know exactly what I have and I can look for projects for this yarns. Anyway, next up is this coming Sunday. We will have our Scrappy Sunday chat. It will be a live chat at 5 o'clock South African Standard Time on YouTube. It will be streaming on my own channel as well as Leanie's from Independence Yarn Crafts channel. We are hosting this live chat together, and you can keep an eye out on Instagram. We will be adding it to our stories as we usually do, and provide the link and everything in there if you're interested. And we would love for you to come and join us. We are going to have a lovely guest, and yeah, we are going to have a lot of fun. I'm sure of it. We always do. Alrighty, then back to this socks. So this is my newest sock pattern. Usually I let the pattern, release the pattern when the podcast goes live, but this time I'm going to do it a little bit different. So this pattern will be up on Ravelry for purchase and on my website on Friday. So this will be this Friday, the 24th of February. Just because of various reasons, power outages and internet issues and whatever, I'm just giving myself a little bit of leeway to get everything up on the internet and ready. So this pattern will be coming out on the 24th of February, Friday morning. I will announce it on my Instagram stories, and I think I might do a post on YouTube as well when it is up on Ravelry for purchase. So it will be just in time for a cozy sock cast on for the weekend. Right, so that is the cozy faux cable socks, and it'll be ready on Friday. Alrighty, what else is there? Just a little bit of news as well. We had a little bit of a sad incident in our household. We lost our dog of 11 years. He would have been 11 years on the 1st of March, would have been his birthday. But anyway, so unfortunately he passed away on the 14th of February. And yeah, it's part of life, I guess, but it is not easy. Anyway, so just after that, I hurt my hand, my left hand, and I could not knit or crochet for 3 days in a row, which was very frustrating because I have all these beautiful things around me and I just want to knit a little bit and I cannot. So I have had a little bit of a rough time, and very frustrating to not be able to do the thing that takes you through difficult times. But anyway, so this morning my hand is a little bit better, and I could actually knit a few rows on my Riika top. So we are getting a little bit of progress and healing on the hand. It is just like a muscle injury basically. So the only thing that'll help for that is time and rest. But yes, who wants to rest a hand when they want to knit or crochet? Anyway, so I'm starting to feel better. My spirits are up a bit because I can actually knit. And I've fallen a little bit behind with my daily knitting goals. But anyway, it happens and I will catch up on that as well. Alright, so let's move on to the next part of the podcast, which is my podcast recommendation segment. I don't know. So I do have 2 podcasts that I would like to recommend again this week. And the first one is Back Porch Fiber Co. So this is Laura. She is the designer, maker and dyer behind Back Porch Fiber Co. She makes podcasts and she dyes yarn. And she just had 2 episodes where she was working through her whips. And that was very inspiring. Because I also worked through a whip-in last year, it was very inspiring for me to see her working through some of her whips. And I really enjoyed it. So I will link that down below for you. The second podcast that I would like to recommend is Martha Mitchell. I will also link her down below. Martha is from the east coast of Scotland, if I have it correct. And she is a crochet designer as well. She has a lovely podcast to watch. And she's also participating in the Battenberg make-along that my friend Leanie from Independence Yarncraft and I are hosting for 2023 and 2024. And she chose a yellow for her main color, and it is really, really beautiful. I will link her podcast down below and you can go have a look. And you can check out these 2 channels, and if you like their content, maybe you can go support them too. That is everything that I have for this episode. You are more than welcome to leave me a comment and tell me what you are working on. And that is it. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of my content. And I will see you in the next one. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.